Now, your dishwasher doesn't care if it's plates, spoons, or glasses, it handles them all. So why do people treat their investments as if it was one dirty plate? So stick around, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how your dishwasher can teach you about diversifying your investments and grow wealth just like a billionaire. So hi everyone, and thanks for joining my channel today. I'm Premal, I'm a CFO of a fintech, I'm an investor, but I'm also an education-based YouTuber. And on this channel, what you learn about are complex financial concepts explained in a much more simple way using everyday household objects. So here goes. Now, anybody who's actually loaded a dishwasher knows that a dishwasher can take all sorts of different forms of cutlery, whether it's plates, spoons, forks, glasses, etc. It's built and designed for different types of items. And your investments are very much the same way when thinking about diversification. But actually what happens is people often put all their eggs in one basket. They might just hold cash, they might just hold stocks or bonds, or maybe they're deep into real estate. And really the key to growing and preserving your wealth is actually to have a good spread of investments that are able to ride out different periods of volatility over time. So let's take this concept forward. Now, as you know from my previous videos, I obviously didn't do very well at art. So I'm going to ask my trusted assistant to help me. You won't see them on camera, but you will see what fantastic pictures they do of a dishwasher. So here goes. So as you can see, I have my dishwasher here that's been expertly drawn by my assistant. Now, often what happens is people will put the same thing in their dishwasher. And so the analogy is maybe you just put a glass literally everywhere, right? Now, obviously we want to prevent that from happening, because what happens in periods of high inflation? Well, your cash value actually reduces. Even if you're earning interest, it's after the effects of inflation, your wealth could be staying still or actually decreasing. So what you want to do is the following. So let's do our dishwasher analogy again, and let's split this up. So you might actually have glasses here, plates here, and then maybe you have cutlery here, so my spoon and my fork, okay? And your glass might represent cash, so it's your savings accounts. Your plates might be bonds, your fork and your spoon might be stocks, also known sometimes as equities. And that is effectively a much more diversified portfolio of assets. You've obviously, using the dishwasher, you've got different types of things in there. And so what happens is ultimately, if there was very high inflation, you might find that whilst your cash and your bonds reduce, actually because the companies you're investing in, which are stocks, are able to raise their prices, you might actually see stock prices go up. So whilst you have some of your investments go down, others actually offset it and it goes up. Now imagine if you just had glasses and you just had cash in there, everything would go down. All those arrows would be going down. So you're seeing the value of being diversified really in action. It helps to ride out different periods and difficult periods that one might have in their economy, and ultimately you're preserving and growing your wealth no matter what the economic cycle is. Using that analogy, I actually want to give you a real life story, right? I had a friend of mine who basically had made a decent amount of money. He was telling me just before the COVID pandemic had struck really in early 2020. And he loaded up on crypto. And when the COVID pandemic hit, obviously all risk assets like stocks, like crypto, all dropped. And he found himself in a real situation because obviously all of the value of his investments had really significantly dropped. And whilst there was a recovery once a lot of liquidity came into the system and his crypto went up, he actually found that it then subsequently went down because it was just so volatile. And he was trying to buy a house, he was trying to buy a car, and he was terrified actually that the value of all these investments had dropped significantly versus the money he'd put in. He wasn't diversified. He had all of the same types of things in his dishwasher. And so when there were different types of periods, you know, downturns, he really struggled, and he actually found that he was in a difficult situation when he tried to sell those investments and use it for different things in his life. So this is the point. If you're not diversified, you tend to worry. You can have real challenges when it comes to different economic periods. So What you want to be is diversified, and then you don't have to worry because you know that if some of your investments drop, there's likely other investments that you have in your portfolio that increase. So why is diversification important, right? Two main reasons. Number one, it reduces risk. And number two, there are real life consequences, right? These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. This is real money that if you then realize, it has an impact on your life. So just to take away some key points from this video, diversification helps reduce risk because there are real life consequences as well. But the other thing it does is it balances your rewards, because whilst there might be assets in your portfolio that fall, there are likely others that rise, and they balance each other out. And over time, you should see your investment portfolio grow and preserve your wealth for future generations. So one thing I want you to ask yourself is, are you watching your financial dishwasher? Do you have just plates, spoons, or glasses in there, or do you have a good mix? Because if you have a good mix, you're probably in a good place to diversifying your portfolio, preserving and growing your wealth, just like a billionaire. So thanks for joining this video. I really hope you liked it. If you do enjoy these videos that I do, please do like and subscribe. They really help me. And do check out some of my other videos on my channel where I try and use everyday household items to explain complex financial concepts in a much more simple way. And until next time, thanks.